What's your assessment of what we've been seeing happening over the past few weeks in petrol stations around the country?
Well, firstly, I have to wholeheartedly agree with everything that Nigel has said. He's got it spot on, as usual. The government are fully culpable for the situation we're in now. I'm sorry, I'm a big fan of Ian Duncan Smith, but you can't blame businesses or the Road Haulage Association for all of the problems, because we're the highest tax motorists in the world, the highest tax drivers in the world. Hauliers themselves are working on wafer thin margins. Their vehicles are doing 9 miles to the gallon, and nearly 65% of what goes into the tank goes to the exchequer. And I'm afraid if what we do need to do, we've got a budget coming up in 4 weeks' time. I really hope, and I think Nigel Farage will agree with this one because I worked with him a few years back on this, we should cut fuel duty and put more money into these small businesses' pockets so they can invest in cleaner kit and, more importantly, new drivers and training.
Well, we have had the fuel duty escalator effectively frozen, which at least means that fuel duty hasn't been rising. But you say you'd be pushing for an actual cut to fuel duty.
Absolutely, and Fairfield UK has been instrumental with people like Robert Halfon MP to actually get this 11 years of freezing duty. But remember, we're still the highest tax drivers in the world. We're still, and we mustn't forget that. We usually alternate between Italy and Norway in terms of top position of 220 countries in the world. And frankly, it's disgusting. Under a Conservative government, we've got bans coming in 2030 on new diesel and petrol vehicles. We've got local traffic networks. We've got congestion charges. We've got ultra-low emission zones. Everything is really stacked up against the motorists, and particularly commercial logistics. It's ridiculously what's happening. And I call upon the government, as I do on behalf of 1.7 million supporters, please, let's cut fuel duty this time. Let's really go for it and put more money into small businesses' pockets.
Howard, it's Nigel here. The oil price this week, I noticed, was trading briefly through $80 a barrel. We've also got the pound falling a bit against the dollar. So in sterling terms, the price of oil is going up sharply. It's up over 55% this year. So we understand that the wholesale price, you know, for unleaded and for diesel is going up. But have we seen companies profiteering unnecessarily over the course of the last few days?
Well, as you know, I've been actually calling for a body that we've got Ofcom, Watt, we've got all sorts of things in Ofgen, but we haven't got off-pump. And what we do need is actually fair pricing at the pumps, more importantly, transparent pricing at the pumps. When it was $80, I fully accept it will go up 3 to 4p per litre. But we're seeing anything up to 10p, and in some places in West London, there's a garage charging £2.65.
Just in case you were wondering, classic British people. The petrol station is heaving.
Sorry, I lost you all there.
That's all right. So £2.65 a litre in West London, yeah?
That's correct, in Sloane Street.
Oh, that's OK, because the Notting Hill set can afford that, Howard, and they're all the ones in Parliament. They wouldn't even notice. They wouldn't even notice. No, I mean, this is coming, isn't it? We've got, you know, domestic fuel, the price of that going through the roof, the cap, of course, going. But, yeah, this is going to really impact on people. Howard, on the ground, I don't know how much intel you've got, but certainly what I saw in Kent over the weekend was just no fuel, full stop. And I was talking to people yesterday, farmers and others who literally can't do their jobs, care home staff who can't get to work. And I just wonder, strategically, how can it be strategically that the two service stations on the M20, the artery with Europe, have no fuel? I mean, is this just incompetence?
Totally incompetence. It's scandalous. And the point is, we had this virtual signalling following the Don't Panic call by Grant Shapps, which, of course, we know what would happen if you say don't panic, is we had this call for the army are on standby. What does standby mean? These guys, there are tanker drivers in the army who already drive petrol and diesel tankers. Yes, they may have to understand how to dip a tank and how to handle in a forecourt. That would take a morning's bit of training. Why weren't they put out there straight away on strategic areas, the arteries that matter? Nigel, I couldn't agree more with you. It was ridiculous. It's total incompetence on this government, and they are spinning a story and blaming everyone else but themselves.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the strategic piece is the piece that has been really missing, and surely government should know. I think they know from an electricity point of view where the strategic points are, and they certainly should have known where the strategic points were in terms of our motorways. So I'm really shocked to hear what Nigel has been saying in relation to the motorways down from London to continental Europe, that there's absolutely no fuel there. And of course it is now a London South East issue, and there are other parts of the UK where it hasn't been taken effect at all hard. So thank you very much for coming on.
The GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.